The Arcturian Group Message, May 10, 2015. Greetings, dear ones. We observe that all is proceeding according to schedule, and most of you are beginning to recognize and experience the new and powerful energies of transformation. Everyone's experience may well be different, so try not to compare yours with what you may read or hear regarding the spiritual experiences of another. Every person is unique by virtue of having lived different experiences through many lifetimes, finally arriving at their present state of consciousness. You are clearing the residue of hundreds of lifetimes lived in ignorance, and no one person is exactly the same as another. Most of you are now beginning to see and experience the world from a higher dimensional viewpoint, which is manifesting as new ways, forms, and ideas of those things you are already familiar with. The reality, divine idea, of everything in the outer world always remains present and infinite in divine consciousness. Spiritual evolution allows you to interpret and manifest these divine ideas on a new and higher levels. An example could be how the three-dimensional world views death. Death means complete obliteration to those believing there is nothing beyond one lifetime, except the slight chance of a heaven or hell based on how good a person was. Thus, death to them is something to be feared and avoided at all costs. Those of a more illumined consciousness, who realize there could never be real death, are somewhat free of this intense fear and anxiety. There is always some sadness with parting, but none of the terror and resistance born of ignorance. Death is recognized to be a transition, not an ending, a part of everyone's evolutionary journey on Earth, often welcomed by those tired and ready to go home. The divine idea here is omnipresence. You, as expressions of the divine, always will be places of no importance. Soon you begin to see changes within governments and law, for the consciousness of mankind is rapidly awakening and ready to reclaim personal powers ignorantly surrendered over lifetimes. More and more people are beginning to realize that they are not powerless, and this change of the inner will in turn manifest as changes in the outer. The continuous clearing of old energy is not meant to go on forever, and many of you are now moving into a time of creating. Because you are beginning to accept that you are indeed powerful spiritual beings, your thoughts and words are manifesting more quickly. As you now move into a more evolved state of consciousness, most of the old programming from lifetimes of ignorance that served to block your ability to consciously manifest, has dissolved or is in the process of dissolving. For thousands of years mankind has for the most part been unaware of his true nature, and thus a world consciousness of individual powerlessness became the consensus belief. Those in positions of dominance have always worked to convince the majority they had no power of their own, and so must look to others, them, for their good. The result has been a world of people ignorant of who they really were, believing, obeying, and following the demands of the rich and powerful without question. This will end when a majority awakens, serving to lift an open world consciousness to new and higher levels of awareness. Arise, dear ones, and remember who you are. It is time to claim your divine sonship, being ever mindful of how you speak and think, for you are creators. Note how some individuals who are experts in certain areas of medicine or science through intense study, research, and belief, often discover these very issues manifesting in their own families or themselves. Every billboard, ad, or announcement regarding some campaign to fight a disease or condition serves to materialize it more firmly in the belief system of all who read it, and thus manifest more of it. When an individual is enmeshed in the human belief system of duality and separation, their lives reflect some good and some bad. Painful life lessons are often a part of a soul's pre-birth contract, in order to resolve some karmic issue or learn some needed lesson, but three-dimensional experiences can also be impersonal, simply reflecting a state of consciousness that accepts two powers. Man was not meant to slip so deeply into three-dimensional density, but you are completing the hard work necessary in order to move beyond it and are doing a fine job. A job that required lifetimes of often painful experiences necessary for building courage and strength. Remember this fact whenever you are tempted to believe yourself to be a failure in any way, for in reality there can be no failure, only learning experiences. It is difficult to move beyond popular thought until truth becomes an attained state of consciousness, at which point much of the three-dimensional belief system begins to simply lose its relevance and power over you. You see and hear the same things as everyone else, but you no longer react in the same way. Those of you reading these messages are quickly moving into a consciousness able to discern truth where the world sees discord and are beginning to instinctively recognize what is hype and promotion for the financial benefit of a few. You are learning to see the world with new eyes and live out from a higher awareness of what is going on around you. Because of this, you are helping to shift world consciousness to new levels. Look back a few years of your lives at an earlier time, dear ones, and you will quickly realize how far you have come in a very short time. Just a few years ago, you might have jumped on the bandwagon of many popular three-dimensional beliefs. Those same beliefs you clearly see differently today. You are awakening, and remembering who you are, coming to realize that you no longer need to seek, beg, or plead from some pie-in-the-sky God for the good you have sought in vain for lifetime after lifetime. Rejoice, for you have finally found it where it has always been, within, patiently and lovingly awaiting your recognition. We are the Arcturian group. Channeled by Marilyn Raphael. www.onenessofall.com